Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Bass back again with another forecast update for you for this June the 4th, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Sunday out there so far. Hope everybody has a great Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well, and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay. In today's video, we're going to talk about the GFS forecast model. For the next 7 days. We're going to run it out to next 7 days so you get a chance to see what the forecast is going to look like over the next 7 days. Also, we're going to take a look at the weather radar across the nation. Also, we're going to take a look at the watches, warnings, and advisory map for your location. Take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today and your Monday. And also, we're going to take a look at the CIPS analog or CIPS analog based severe weather probabilities for the next 8 days. So if you'd like to see what all that's about, stick around through the whole video and you'll get a chance to find out what we'll be talking about in this forecast segment. Okay, if you're a new viewer and have not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Love to have you. Like these videos, share these videos, and also like I said, if you'd like to see me at 450, consider subscribing. Love to have you. And let's go ahead and dive on into the forecast and let's get the show on the road, folks. Alright, we're looking at the GFS computer model run. It's starting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. The current radar across the nation would look like this. Some scattered activity over Maine, back in the portion of New Hampshire, also down towards portion of Connecticut and New York, a little bit north of New York State. Also, we got some scattered activity. Also, would be in back in the West Virginia, also North Carolina coast. There's that little low pressure system that was tropical depression and tropical storm Arlene. It will continue to move on out to the east northeast. Scattered activity over southern Canada, and also scattered activity over the Rockies back down toward Texas and New Mexico. Let's go on forward to. We're going to start at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. The radar would look like this tomorrow afternoon with scattered activity with showers up here in the northeastern United States. That's off the Nova Scotia area, back in the Maine and portion of Connecticut region, and also got offshore there, possibly up here in portions of North Carolina, northern Georgia. Also over here in the port of Texas, back into Colorado, also back over in Utah, and Idaho, that is, excuse me, over here offshore to California, and also southern Canada, up around portion of North Dakota, back into Minnesota and Wisconsin area as well. Let's continue to go forward in time. I'm going to stop it at 8 p.m. because we're getting the weather pattern. We'll start to get a little more active at 8 p.m. on June the 5th. That is Monday. Tomorrow evening, look like there may be some shower and thunderstorm, maybe moving into portions of South Carolina and portions of North Carolina coming in from the northwest. Also got some showers offshore over the coastal waters of the Atlantic. There's that low pressure system, 998 millibar up here in portions of the northeastern United States, just offshore there. Scattered activity also in portions of Tennessee, back in Louisiana, Texas, all the way back to Arkansas, Arizona, that is, and the portion of Colorado, and Utah, and California, back into Montana, and Idaho as well, and also over portions of Minnesota, back into southern Canada, with some shower and thunderstorm activity around that time. The shower and storm by 2 a.m. kind of breaks up across the Carolinas here. Still more scattered shower and storm over the southern portion of the United States. That 994 millibar low pressure still meandering off the northeast coast. Still got scattered activity over the west and the southern Canada there as well. Alright, we're going to move on to 2 p.m. on your Tuesday. This is that low pressure system still setting up here off the northeast United States coast. With a 991 millibar low pressure system. Still got scattered showers expected to start down in the portion of the PD of South Carolina. Still got shower activity down around the Panhandle of Florida, down into the Gulf. Also scattered activity over here in portion of New Mexico. Sorry if I get the states mixed up. I apologize. All the way up to southern Canada, Montana, and also over toward Minnesota as well. Scattered activity over portions of Arkansas and Kansas and Oklahoma. At 8 p.m. Tuesday, got more scattered showers possible across the middle of the South Carolina, back into the Outer Banks, offshore. Southern Florida, the Panhandle, a little bit area there as well. Southern Louisiana, Texas, back in the portion of Arkansas, and also Oklahoma. There's that 991 millibar low pressure still meandering off the northeastern United States coast. Still got scattered out shower and storms over southern Canada, back in the portion of Iowa and Minnesota. Also back over here in portion of Colorado, and also in the portion of Wyoming and Nevada on your Tuesday. Let's go ahead and roll on out into Wednesday at 2 p.m. You can see that low pressure still meandering off the northeast coast. Got scattered showers from Canada back in the portion of Kentucky. Also down in the portion of the South United States area, back over here in the Rockies and California vicinity. Also again back over here in southern Florida, Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic waters. Let's see, let's go to 8 p.m. Pretty much South Carolina looks pretty dry for Wednesday, so that should be in good shape, except maybe around the Grand Strand region, back over to the coast, out into the Atlantic. Also down here around the Bahamas and Cuba with more shower and storm. That low pressure still meandering, setting up here off the northeastern United States coast, right off southeast Canada there. As long as that pattern is setting there like that, still going to keep probably pretty stormy activity along the east coast. Also still scattered shower and storm from Canada back in the portion of Iowa, and also in the Tennessee, down to Arkansas and Louisiana, all the way back into Texas, all the way back over in the portions of Montana and California there as well. And let's roll on out to Thursday at showers and storms moving in from the north, coming into the Carolinas once again. Scattered activity over the northeastern United States. Finally, that low pressure system moved on off to the northeast. Also, we got scattered activity over southern Canada and North Dakota. Also, more over here in portions of the upper Midwest, from Colorado back into portions of Montana, Idaho, and portions of Oregon State on your Thursday. Also, we got some more scattered activity down along the south there as well. All right, the 8 p.m. run still showing a low pressure system developed off the North Carolina coast near the Outer Banks. A little cold front dropping in from the north. That will continue to push south. Scattered activity still over the portion of the Bahamas, down in Cuba, down in the Gulf of Mexico. There's that cold front dropping down into the Carolina, bringing some showers for your Thursday as well, all the way back into to Georgia, back to Louisiana, Texas, all the way back up into back into North Dakota, also into southern Canada, also over here in the upper Midwest, from Wyoming back into portions of Washington State, also into Oregon and California there as well. All right, let's move on to, whoops, went too far. This is your Friday forecast. That cold front drops offshore. It's got shower and thunderstorm over portions of Cuba, the Bahamas. There it is off in the Atlantic waters. Also over here in portions of the northeastern United States. Also over Florida as well. Scattered showers and storms there. Southern Canada, Minnesota. Back down in Nebraska and Kansas. Also back over here in Washington, Oregon, and also into Montana, and also over into portions of Idaho for your Friday. At 8 p.m. Friday still looks the same. Up here in the northeast, scattered, still widespread shower and storm in the northwest U.S., central portion of the United States, southern Canada, down in Florida there as well, and also Bahama and the Cuba area. And finally, let's go ahead and take a look at your Saturday forecast, 2 p.m. Scattered activity over the northeastern United States. There's that system out in the Atlantic waters there, along that cold front. Also another shower and storm also over northern Florida, southern Georgia, back into Texas, back into portion of Minnesota, Wisconsin, all the way back over into portions of Idaho. Washington. Wyoming. That is, excuse me, Colorado, back into Montana, Idaho, also California, and also over in the northwestern United States. Maybe a little bit of snow in the middle, like the model's trying to pick up a little bit there as well. And let's wrap it up with the 8 p.m. Forecast, and then we're going to move on to something else. We still got scattered activity over the northeast, also in the Midwest, also in the upper Midwest and California vicinity, southern Florida, Cuba, and the Bahamas, and still dry across the southeastern United States, just like I said, just except for southern Georgia and Florida. Alright, let's move on to the weather radar now across the nation. As you can see, we have showers, thunderstorm moving in up around Maine, southeast Canada. Also, that little system still off the Carolina coast, producing showers and storms off the coastal water. Also down here, sorry about that pop-up, that thing pop-up again. Also down here in portion of the Bahamas, a little bit of Cuba, also southern Florida, central Florida, northern Florida, southeast Georgia, a little bit around the Atlanta area. Scattered showers there. Also in the portion of the Gulf of Mexico, also into Texas, Oklahoma, all the way back into Wyoming. A little bit up here around Iowa as well, southern Minnesota, North Dakota, southern Canada, Nevada as well, getting some scattered activity down toward New Mexico and Arizona, New Mexico as well. Guam radar currently unavailable. A little bit of scattered activity across Alaska. Also some scattered showers and storm around the Hawaiian chain island. And also Puerto Rico got a few scattered showers there as well. Alright, let's move on to the watches, warnings, and advisories map for your location. Alrighty, we still got that coastal flood warning around the Washington D.C. area, Maryland, back down into portion of Virginia, and into portion of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Still got those little surf advisory, flood advisory, that is, along the Carolina coast. Also more flood warnings in effect for northeastern portions of Florida. Still got the flood watches for southern portions of Florida there as well. Flash flood watches are in effect for portions of northwestern Mississippi. We've still got some air quality alerts going on across the nation. Over here in southwestern Tennessee, also over here in eastern Missouri, back in the southwestern portion of Illinois, southern portion of Ohio as well. Also over here in Wisconsin, northeastern Illinois, and much in central and eastern portions of Minnesota as well. We got some special weather statements up here in portions of Michigan. Red flag warnings in effect for Michigan there as well. Got some flood advisories over portions of Arkansas. Also flood warnings in North Texas. Flood watches in effect for portions of New Mexico, excuse me. Air quality alert for Arizona. Some flooding possible here in portions of California. River flood warning still in effect for Nevada. Portions of New Mexico, Colorado. Also in the portions of North and South Dakota. Also in the portions of Montana there as well. And Idaho, got some flood advisories in northern portions of Minnesota, Montana that is. And also some flood watches in effect for portions of southeast Idaho. And a special weather statement there for portions of southwestern Washington State. Up here in Alaska, we got some special weather statement there. Some gale warnings around the area, on the outer coastal areas that is, and also the Hawaiian chain island looks a-okay, and also got some hazardous material warnings down in southwestern Louisiana. Look at the Storm Prediction Center for today, and then we'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast as well. We got general thunderstorm for southeast Georgia down in Florida, Florida Keys, all the way back into Texas, Louisiana, Texas, all the way back into New Mexico and Arizona, back into California, back into Idaho and Montana, back to Minnesota, northwest Wisconsin, through Iowa, all the way back into portions of Kentucky and West Virginia. We have a marginal risk over here in portions of West Virginia, through eastern Kentucky, through much of Tennessee, western North Carolina, northern Georgia, and northeastern portion of Alabama, and across southeast, south, and south central Texas. Alright, if you're in the marginal risk, this includes San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Corpus Christi, Texas, and Laredo, Texas. The tornado probability for today, less than 2% all areas. Winds from West Virginia back into North Georgia, North Alabama and Tennessee, and also down in central and southern Texas. The hail probability, still same areas. Back into West Virginia and also into Tennessee and also in central southern Texas. Let's take a look at these cities for the winds. That includes San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas, Laredo, Texas, and Knoxville, Tennessee. The hail, this includes San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas, Laredo, Texas, and Knoxville, Tennessee. Alright, let's move on to your day 2 outlook. Okay, here we go. We have a marginal risk for the Carolinas here down into Georgia. And we have general thunderstorms up here in Port of New York. Also, the remainder of the Carolinas all the way back into Florida. Also down into the Florida Keys, back to Texas, back to New Mexico. Also back to California, and also into portions of Oregon, Montana. All the way back into North Dakota, Minnesota. Also into Wisconsin, Iowa, back all the way back into Arkansas and Tennessee there as well. Like I said, the marginal risk is over the Carolinas and Georgia. And if you're in the marginal risk, this includes Charlotte, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, High Point, North Carolina, and Gastonia, North Carolina. The tornado probability, less than 2% all areas. Winds, same area, Charlotte, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, High Point, North Carolina, and Gastonia, North Carolina, surrounding areas. Hail probability, same areas, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, High Point, North Carolina, and Gastonia, North Carolina, and surrounding areas. Alright, now we're going to finally wrap up the video with the CIPS analog, or CIPS analog, severe weather probability. We have a little bit over here in portion of New Mexico. That's only like a 10% chance. Alright, let's move on to day 2, severe weather. We have a 10% over here in portions of Colorado and also up in the portions of Montana for day 2. Let's move on to day number 3. As you can see, we got 10 to 15% chance over here in the Carolinas and Georgia. Also, we have more 10 to 15% chance over here in portions of West Texas through New Mexico into Colorado and southeast Wyoming. We have a 10% over here in portions of Montana for day 3. Alright, let's move on to day number 4. We have a 10% over here in South Carolina and Georgia, and also the coastal waters there. Also over here in Texas, back into West Texas. Then we have a 15% over here in portions of West Texas, Panhandle of Texas, eastern New Mexico. Also into portions of Colorado. 10% off stretches all the way into portions of Wyoming as well. And through Colorado too. Alright, let's take a look at day 5. The severe weather probability, 10 to 15%, extending from central Texas, southeast Texas, all the way into portions of Wyoming, including the portions of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, eastern portion of New Mexico, and central and eastern portion of Colorado. Alright, let's move on to day number 6. And generally in the same area, we got 10, 15 to 30% over Texas, all the way into portions of South Dakota and also into Wyoming. This includes portions of Nebraska, portions of Kansas, much of Oklahoma, much of northern and central Texas, eastern portion of New Mexico, and eastern and central Colorado, and southeastern Wyoming for day number 6. Alright, day number 7. There's a big area of 10 to 15% chance, mainly a 15% chance over Texas, Oklahoma, in the Kansas, Nebraska, southeast Wyoming, central and eastern portion of Colorado, and central and eastern portions of New Mexico for day number 7. And finally, we're going to wrap it up with day number 8 for our severe weather probably in New Hampshire, all the way through New York, all the way down into Georgia, with South Carolina with a 10% in the yellow. We have a 15% in ports of Pennsylvania, all the way through Virginia, all the way down into South Carolina there as well, including North Carolina and Virginia. Also, we have a 10 to 15% chance of severe weather over here in ports of Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, all the way into New Mexico, all the way into Colorado, southeast Wyoming, also southwestern portion of Kansas, and central and western portion of Nebraska, and all of Oklahoma included in day number 8. Alrighty, well, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Give you a rundown of what's to expect over the next 8 days for severe weather. So, if you see anything from the Storm Prediction Center, every time I issue a forecast, you see it in these areas, you remember you heard it here first from the Mike Bass Weather Forecast channel, that you'll get a chance to see the severe weather probabilities coming up over the next 8 days. But anyway, if you have not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Love to have you. Like these videos, share these videos, and we'll catch you back in the next one. And